This ESPN podcast is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com.
Before we get started in today's show, I want to tell you about Stamps.com, longtime sponsor of the BS Report. It's quick, it's convenient. More importantly, it's really, really easy to use. You do not have to go to the post office anymore. You can just stay home. Make your own office, your personal post office. You can avoid lines. You can avoid just standing there as somebody mails some package, some 79-year-old lady. Who needs that? Make your own mailing and shipping from your house. Stamps.com. Put in the top right of the site, BS. You'll get a deal and a scale and a whole bunch of other things. It's a great product. You can buy and print official U.S. postage using your computer and printer. Stamps.com will give you a digital scale. It will automatically calculate the exact postage for any letter, any package. They'll even help you choose the best class of mail. Wow. Why go to the post office? Just give it to the postman. Stamps.com. Check it out.
The BS Report is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects. The BS Report. The BS Report with Bill Simmons.
We're here in Austin for South by Southwest. It's been a while for this guy, Charles Barkley. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me.
We're taping this on a Friday.
Okay.
You did San Antonio, Cleveland last night.
Yes.
And Kyrie Irving
went off.
It was beyond a heat check. What do you call that?
You know, and the thing that was amazing about it, those shots were contested. I mean, think about it, though. How many games have you been to in your life where a guy got 50 points?
Right.
I mean, even tonight, the best performance I'd seen before last night was the night when LeBron scored 29 out of 30. But I'm not sure he had 50 that night.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure he had 50 that night.
He had 48.
Did he?
Yeah.
But to see a guy just, and like all those shots were contested, it was pretty impressive to watch. And the thing I liked about the game the most, LeBron and Kawhi Leonard was playing like it was a game 7. They were trying to Kawhi Leonard was going at him.
Talking.
He was beating him up good. Yeah. And then Tony Parker, Tony Parker was kicking his butt the first half.
Yeah.
And Kawhi Leonard Kyrie Irving just turned it on. It was such a competitive game. And the thing I said on the air last night, how often do you get the best 4 players playing against each other? They have to guard each other on offense and defense.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan don't guard each other. I didn't, guard all the great players I played against, other than Karl Malone. There's very few guys like, this guy's great, and we guard each other the whole time. Scottie Pippen was great, but I didn't guard him, and he didn't guard me. So it was really cool.
Jalen and I have been arguing about Kyrie for like 2.5 years because my thought was, I didn't think he was a pure point guard. I'm just like,
he's not.
I'm a point guard perfectionist. I want my guy to like set everyone up for 42 minutes and then take over the last 6. And he's not wired like that.
No.
And my question was, will this ever work on a winning team? And now you're seeing it work, and it reminds me a little bit of what you had with KJ.
Though.
But it's like what you had with KJ, though, where he can just take over stretches.
Yeah, but it's a little bit different because I don't want my point guard being ball dominant, to be honest with you, because you want him to get other guys involved.
Right.
I mean, it's a unique offense they got. LeBron covers up a multitude of things. I think they're misusing Kevin Love.
To say the least.
To say the least, they're misusing Kevin Love. But ideally, you don't want your point guard shooting 30 times a night. Ideally.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that was the question is, can this guy figure out how to do what he does within the framework of a larger thing? And that's the thing with Westbrook. He kind of goes back and forth. Some days he gets it, and then he has those games where he takes 38 shots, and you guys come on the set after, and you're having a heart attack. But
you know what's interesting? I'm in there with Chris Webber, Rachel Nichols last night, and Kevin Harlan. We're talking. We talked to the coaches before the game.
Yeah.
And this is what made Greg Popovich the best coach in the NBA. He said, we were talking about Kawhi Leonard. He says, yeah, he's starting to get it now.
What's that mean?
He says what he means is, he says when he was younger, he thought when I called his play, he's supposed to shoot it. He didn't realize, the team is supposed to score. And me knowing what he meant, part of being a really good player is making the guys around you better. Just because the coach calls your name doesn't mean the player's for you.
Yeah.
And so that kind of answers your question. A lot of these guys, they're great one-on-one players. But what they don't understand if you learn to make the players around you better, it'll make your game easier. Like sometimes you're like, when I made a move sometime, I was like, I'm trying to get Cesar Ballas to score. I'm trying to get Mark West to score. I'm trying to get Oliver Miller a score. Just because the coach called my play doesn't mean I have to shoot it.
Right.
And Popovich said that. He says, Kawhi's starting to get it now. When I call this play, that don't mean he has to shoot it.
Right.
It's for the team to score. And that's a great way to phrase it.
Well, it's interesting, though. Westbrook, I think, is wired a lot like Kobe was, where it's like the best situation for my team is what the best situation for me is.
Yes.
And that's how he thinks, and I don't think he ever changes. I kind of like it.
Well, but that's the biggest difference. That's why they're out of the playoffs now. You know, you can't just try to get yours. Because I think they could do a much better job.
But do you think he's selfish, or do you think he honestly feels like this is the best situation for my team if I do this? No, I don't think selfish is the right word.
I think when you're so talented, you can get a shot every time.
Yeah.
You know, for people to forget, you got to understand something. Remember, Michael Jordan averaged 38 early in his career. Right. They were not winning.
Yeah.
When he went down to 28, they started winning. You know, when you're a great player like a Westbrook is, he can actually get a shot every single time. But what he's got to learn is, you know, maybe I should get Ibaka involved. Maybe I should get Cantor involved. Because that'll open up the floor for him, you know.
Right. So where's Kyrie in that now? Kyrie
has got to learn to, okay, maybe I should get Mozgov a layup here. You know, maybe, you know, let me get Kevin Love involved. Like when LeBron goes out the game, you know, like Kevin Love says, we had a little quote on him last night. He says, I'm not a stretch four. I'm a good post-up player. But you know what? He never posts up anymore. But
that's, I don't know if that's his fault.
It's not his fault.
It seems like that's the team's fault.
It is the team's fault. But it's his fault, too, because he's got to demand the ball. I said this last night. When I played, if we go into a lull, like I'm good when everything's working. When we go to a lull and everybody's shooting the ball, I'll stand right in the lane and just stand there and let them call 3 seconds on me. And then I'd curse them out at the timeout. Michael Jordan's done it. I've seen Magic do it. I've seen Larry Bird.
But your personality was much more forceful than I think Kevin Love's is.
But he's getting blamed for stuff that's not his fault. He's not demanding the ball. Bill, listen, ain't no nice guys. The objective is to win.
Yeah.
They just have him standing out on the wing, like just standing there. He's too good a player.
He's Channing Frye.
Yeah. Like, you got to demand the ball.
But this is great for me because now there's a chance he's on the Celtics next year. So I actually want them to keep him out there.
You know,
I know he's not going to be happy out there for 3 years.
Yeah, but you know the thing that's interesting is when Kyrie learns, he got to get Kevin Love involved. You know, he was making horse shots last night, flipping up left-handed. He'll learn when he gets Kevin Love involved, that big guy won't be back there. He'll stay on Kevin Love more if he thinks he's going to pass it.
But like Mike Conley's on that. Let's say Mike Conley's on that team instead of Kyrie. He's thinking about Kevin Love during the games. He's thinking like, oh, Kevin hasn't gotten the ball in a while. I gotta get him something.
Yeah. He's like a pure point guard.
Yes.
He's probably the most underrated point guard in the league.
Well, can you win with a ball-dominant point guard? Because it's never really happened.
Well, I don't know if you can win, but I think, like I say, it's different when you're playing with LeBron because he's gonna cover up some issues. He's got Kevin there now. They got Mozgov. I don't know how far they can go. But you really don't want your point guard shooting 30 times a night. I mean, it's not like, hey, when you do your little plays in practice, you run actual plays. It doesn't say the point guard just shoot it 30 times.
Right.
It doesn't really do you the good to run through your offense in practice.
Yeah.
And listen, Kevin Johnson, to me, was a great player. And sometimes you have to check your ego at the door. You say, can I get a shot every time? Of course you can get a shot every time. But then you have to realize, it opens up the floor when they think you might pass the ball.
Well, you guys, I always thought that was interesting, 93, 94, 95, you and KJ.
Yeah.
Both of you had to be double-teamed.
Yeah.
He could go by anybody whenever he wanted, and it was always this balance of figuring it out.
Yeah, but the difference is, like, I'm drawing a double team to get Marley a wide open shot, or to get Sabalos a shot. He was gonna score.
Yeah.
You know, Kenny always said we used to love when Kevin would get 30, 35 points because he wouldn't get other guys involved. But that's not selfish. that's like a Westbrook. I don't think Russell is selfish. I just think he's so talented, he can get a shot every time he wants one.
But now you got 4 guys standing.
Yes, you got 4 guys.
Just kind of watching them.
And you see one of the criticism of Cleveland is the offense becomes stagnant sometimes.
Same thing with LeBron. It's all one-on-one stuff.
Yeah, same with LeBron. Sometimes they become stagnant because they can get a shot every single time.
Yeah.
And just because you can get a shot every time don't mean you should get one every time.
The only person I can remember actually winning a title, mostly going one-on-one, was Jordan that last year when everybody was banged up and they really didn't have anything else. Pippen had the bad back.
Yeah.
Rodman was pretty much done at that point. They had a little coup coach, but for the most part, like even when Kobe won his last 2 titles, they would still go through Gasol, they would go through Bynum. They had different options. It wasn't just Kobe hogging it.
It's always a team game. I think that sometimes people, they give you individual accolades, but, Kevin Garnett, who I like a lot, he lost in the first round 8 years in a row.
Right.
And then they gave him Ray Allen and Paul Pierce, and people are like, well, he won the championship. Of course he did. He got Ray Allen and Paul Pierce.
Right.
Nobody said the same thing with Paul Pierce. Nobody said Paul Pierce, like they're like, oh, he won the championship. Like, yeah, when he got Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen. So people, they give individuals credit, but it really is a team game.
But you saw that happen to you. All of a sudden in Phoenix, you're the MVP.
Yeah, and I told him, and I was a much better player. You probably had a better
year in 90, right?
Oh, man, 90.
Magic took your MVP.
Yeah, they did. They screwed me that year. Because I should have been MVP. And the only thing bothered me, I have no problem with Magic winning. The only thing that bothered
you do.
Yeah,
no, you have a tiny problem.
No, I'm going to tell you the problem I had is, let's say this year.
Yeah.
This year, there's 4 candidates for MVP.
Yes.
James.
Curry. Westbrook. LeBron. Maybe Anthony Davis kind of lingering in the background.
But he's going to be 5.
Yeah.
So those guys should be in the top 4 on everybody's list. And we talked about it on our show last week. I got every first place vote. And I didn't get any other votes. That was the only thing that bothered me. I like, okay, if you want to vote for Magic, but I'm at least second, worst case scenario 3rd. I got the most first place votes ever, and I didn't get any other votes.
Right.
And that was the only thing that really bothered me. And because I knew it was going to be close. But like I said, if I'd have got any second place votes or third place votes, even fourth place votes, I would have won the award because it's the closest vote ever. But the only thing that really bothered me is how do I get all the first place votes and no other votes?
Well, you had it both ways because the media shapes that stuff so much.
Yeah.
They like somebody. If somebody doesn't talk to the press, they don't like that.
I know.
When you were in Philly, you're a pretty polarizing guy. You're outspoken. You're getting, and all of a sudden you go to the Dream Team. Barkley's the great guy. He's the life of the party here. You go to Phoenix. Barkley's figured it out. You were the same guy.
No, but I was under so much stress because the greatest compliment I ever got was from Chuck Daly. He says, "You're the second best basketball player in the world." I said, "Who's better than me?" And we used to joke about that all the time. Because it was a really nice.
You talk about summer '92.
Summer '92 on the Dream Team. Watching me play he says, "You're the second best basketball player in the world." I says, and I was joking with him. I said, "Who's better than me?" And it was a really nice compliment. But I was under so much stress in Philly.
Yeah.
I wasn't great with the press because when you're a great player, they blame you for the team not winning. And it was starting to play, because the Dream Team was a really good thing for me, because I actually thought I was the best player in the world, to be honest with you. But I was under so much stress because my team sucked.
Yeah.
So I probably wasn't good with the press doing that, because I'm sitting there like, I know I can play.
Right.
I'm averaging 28 points and leading the league in rebound, and I know it ain't my fault we're losing.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is when you're a star. They love you. Well, you're not winning. So I was under tremendous stress. So the Dream Team was really good for me because if I remember correctly, I led the team in scoring and rebounding. Because the game is always easier when you play with better players.
Yeah.
And when I got to Phoenix, they gave me, I got Kevin Johnson and Dan Marley. I'm good.
Right.
Because I remember having this conversation with Cotton Fitzsimmons. I said, we're going to the finals. He says, how you know that? I said, ain't nobody out here better than me. I said, I finally got some help. I said, ain't nobody I said, be honest with you, I don't think there's anybody in the world better than me. And I said, I got help now. We're going to the finals. I says, there's only one guy I think comparable with me. And I said, that's Michael Jordan. And at that time, I'll be honest with you, when I played for the Sixers, we beat the Bulls, I want to say 12 times in a row. That was before Scottie became full-blown. Horace Grant was terrific. And then but we beat them like every time. They couldn't beat.
I remember this because I bet on you in 1990 when you played on them in the playoffs.
Well, they were better by then. But early in my career, I said, they got nobody can stop me. But I remember one of the worst nights of my life was, talking to my daughter, and we played the Bulls in the finals.
Right.
So we lost game one because everybody was.
Game two, right?
Yeah, game two. Everybody was nervous. And we lost a close game. So game two, my daughter, she said, Dad, you've never lied to me. I said, nope. She says, you're going to win tonight, right? And I said, we're going to win, and we're going to win this series.
You were home, right?
Yes, game two. And I scored 44, I think. And Michael scored like 50.
Yeah.
And I remember going home that night, and she was crying, and I was saying, she said, Dad, what happened? I said, this guy might be better than me.
Yeah.
And I said, I've never played against a player that I thought was better than me. Because I said, I can dominate a game offensively, rebounding-wise. I said, and I remember sitting there when she was crying. I says, and I remember just sitting there like, is this guy better than me? Or does he have more help? And like I say, it was a long series, and we won game three. Lost game four.
It's a fascinating series.
It was a fascinating series.
I think the road team won, 5 of the 6?
Yes. But that was a very frustrating time for me because I never thought that I had played it during that little 6-7 year window.
Yeah.
That I thought I played against anybody that was better than me.
I wish I could bring in Larry Bird right now.
Larry Bird had McHale and Parrish.
He was the legend, though.
He was. Larry Bird was great. But I'm saying, you gave me Bird, you gave me McHale and Parrish.
You carry the McHale torch better than any of the
because he was great.
You knew he was
great. And Parrish was great.
Yeah.
And Dennis Johnson was great. And Magic, as great as Magic is, I got respect for him. He had Kareem and James Worthy and Byron Scott.
Skyhook.
Like if I had any of those guys, I remember it was so funny. One of my great coaches is Jimmy Lanham, who I love to death. We're playing the Celtics in the playoffs, and they walk out with Bird, McHale, and Parrish, and I walk out with Shelton Jones and Manute Bol as the coach. The coach, look at this here. Look at this here. He looked at me and says, "Good luck." And I said, but I felt during that window, I was like, there's nobody can compete with me.
Yeah.
I'm going to get 25 to 30 points a night, and I'm going to get 12 to 15 rebounds every single night.
Which series haunts you the most? 94 Houston?
No, probably.
Like, didn't you feel like you were going to win the title that year? Jordan's playing baseball.
Yeah.
Like, it's on a platter for you.
But no. I mean, we lost to the champs in 7 games. I mean, we couldn't figure out a thing to do with Akeem.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just a beast. The Bulls series bothered me the most because we couldn't win a home game.
Yeah.
I mean, we lost game 1 and 2 at home.
And as you said, you guys were nervous. Like, KJ was not KJ in that series until about midway through.
Yeah. They were nervous for game 1. I felt pretty good. And then game 2, I said, we're just going to win tonight. I'm going to dominate the game. Like I say, Michael still beat me.
Yeah.
So then game 3, we won.
You won in Chicago.
Yeah.
Wasn't that like a double overtime game
triple
or something?
Overtime,
Yeah, triple.
I want to say. Then game 5, Michael scored 55 again.
Yeah.
And then that was game 4. He scored 55 points. Then game 5, I was furious the whole day.
Because you're down 3-1.
I'm down 3-1, but I'm furious. That's not why I'm furious. All these people. So when you're on the road, you're kind of locked in and you're in a hotel room. These people in Chicago, they got all the newscasts boarding up the city.
Yep. Planning the party.
They're like, it comes on first thing in the morning. They're planning like, we're boarding up the windows so these people are going to ride tonight. So I wake up to this, go to practice, and they're asking me those questions about, you're down 3-1, it's over, blah, blah, blah. That pisses me off. And then you turn on the news at noon, They're the same thing. You see they're boarding up the city because they want to protect their businesses. And then you go to the game and you pass like, these people are planning on celebrating tonight. And I told the team, we're not losing tonight. We're not. And I started to chant, let's save the city. So let's save the city. You know, because when you're down 3-1, you got nothing to lose. You just got to go out and let it go. So we thought, And then we win the game, and we get back home. So that probably bothers not being able to win a home game probably bothers me more than anything.
That series was tight.
Yeah, it was a great series.
By the way, we were talking about Kyrie earlier. You destroyed Weber in that game in '94, right? What was that, like 54, 56?
Yeah, because he made me mad.
Because he did a commercial where he dunked on you.
Yeah, he did. Well, it's so funny. And first of all, we're really cool. Chris is one of the great guys I work with.
Yeah, but you can still make fun of him for that game.
No, because let me tell you what's so funny. Nike calls me. So I got a great basketball brain. Kenny calls me the basketball whisperer. It's just easy for me. I can watch a team play or a player play, and I can tell you within 10 minutes whether he can play or not.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to do it. I mean, I just got that gift. I mean, so we're running down the court, and I said, he's a bad free throw shooter. I'm going to foul C. Webb. So I reached the foul him. He puts the ball behind his back, and I get air.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, and he brings it around and he dunks on my head.
Yeah.
And great play on his part. So about 2 months later, I get the phone call from Nike. Hey, we want to use you in this commercial. I said, what commercial? See, we're dunking on you. And I just started laughing. I said, I got no problem because Chris has always been a great kid. So I started laughing. And then they shoot a commercial, and they got him in the barbershop laughing with all the brothers making fun of me getting dunked on. So I put a mental note there.
Yeah.
And we happened to play them the first round of the playoffs. And
that was a good Warriors team. Spree was on it.
They had a really good team.
They were Hardaway talented.
So I have a triple-double the first game.
Yeah.
I have a triple-double the second game. I scored like 30, 15, and 10 in all three games, I think. So going into game 3, this one they were doing 3 out of 5. So we start, I got like 8. I said, I want to get the series over. I got 18 at first quarter.
Yeah.
And they're not doubling me. They're not doubling me. So I walk over. I said, you're disrespecting me right now. I said, I got 18 points in the first quarter. You're not, he says, we're not doubling you all night. I said, you're not going to double me? He said, you had a triple-double in the first 2 games. Good luck tonight.
We're letting you get yours.
I said, okay.
Okay, thank you.
And I said, wait a minute. You're really not going to double me? He said, nope. And then I said, Coach, give it to me every single time. They are not going to double me. And then that's one of the really cool things. That's like the second most points ever been scored in the playoffs. Proud of that stat.
And you kind of killed the commercial.
Yeah, because like they were disrespecting
you can't run the commercial
me.
Anymore.
They were disrespecting me, not doubling me.
Who had more natural power forward talent, C. Webb or Derek Coleman?
Oh, Derek Coleman.
Is Derek Coleman the most talented, pure tools power forward ever?
I don't know about that.
Like, what else would you want from a power forward that he didn't have?
Well, he was different because he could shoot threes.
Right. He could shoot.
Like he was first off, he was left-handed. First of all, he's a big dude.
6'9.5", yeah.
At least. But like Dirk and KD, they are not power forwards. They got power forward size. But a guy who could shoot the 3 and post you up.
Right.
That was scary.
I always thought he was the most naturally gifted one, but now Davis, I watched Davis, I'm thinking man, he might actually reinvent this position.
Well, the only guys who can reinvent positions like a LeBron or Magic, who you
don't even know what position they are.
You can't match up with them.
Yeah.
Like Magic, you can't put a little guy on him and you can't put a big guy on him.
Yeah, what do you do?
LeBron's like that.
Yeah.
Derek Coleman was like, you can't put a big guy. But in fairness, Kevin Durant and Dirk are like that too. Because if you put a big guy on him, they're just going to take him out on the floor, or they can post him up. But Derek Coleman was terrific. But Anthony Davis is like that. He's got a power forward. Well, first of all, he's probably got small forward quickness.
Yeah.
But you can't put a power forward on him because he'll take him out there 12 to 15 feet.
He's got the McHale arms.
Yeah.
The freak arms.
And
way
also,
above.
like I said, it's tough for a center to guard him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where his career goes. I can't figure. I mean, he just turned 22.
Well, it just depends on what they put around him.
That's my fear.
Yeah, they got to put the.
I'm not crazy about the coach. I don't know about Tyreek Evans in crunch time.
Well, it just depends on they put around him. How far because if you put him anywhere, players around him, the rest is going to be history.
Do you think right now the talent pool is comparable to what it was in the early 90s when you had all your dudes?
No, it was always better in our league, and that's no disrespect to these young guys.
Yeah.
The problem is they don't know how to play. They play strictly on talent.
Are you saying this as old school?
No,
get
I'm
off
saying
my
this.
get off my porch, Chuck?
No. I'm saying this as you have to understand something. When you're in high school, you just play.
Yeah.
I had the same conversation with Grant Hill and C. Webb and Reggie Miller the other night.
Yeah.
When you are really good in high school or really big in high school, you're not working on anything. You're just bigger, stronger, and faster. You don't actually learn how to play basketball until you go to college. Because that's the first time you play against big people or other guys who can play. I mean, think about it. In high school, I probably played against one guy who was over 6'5".
Yeah.
You're not playing against 6'8", 6'9" in high school. Most players don't play against other guys. I mean, so you learn how to play in college. So these guys aren't learning how to play. That's the biggest. You're not going to learn in 30 games.
You also learn how to fail from your era. Like, you didn't make the Olympic team. Nowadays, like, all the elite guys they just get coddled. They get whatever I want. They get to go to whatever college they want. I don't know if they actually learn what it's like to not get what they want.
I'm not a big AAU fan because
Me neither.
Putting all the good players together,
Right.
what does that prove?
Right.
Like, I want to play against other good players.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, that makes my game better.
Yeah.
And that teaches me how to compete. Like, we're talking about the Kyrie Irving and Tony Parker. That was old school. Like, we don't want to play together. I'm going to kick your ass and you're going to kick my ass. It was the same way with LeBron and Kawhi last night.
Yeah.
When you play AAU, it's like, let's get all the players together and we just go around mauling people. How does that make you a better player?
No.
It does not make you a better player. Like, I talked about last night this notion that you're going to play hard for 82 games. That's stupid and silly. Nobody can do that. Nobody plays 100% every game.
Except Westbrook.
Yes. but you see when you see, I know, we're playing Magic Johnson tonight. I got to bring it. I'm playing against Karl Malone tonight. I'm playing against Magic. I'm playing against Bird.
Paul McKeskey, not the same kind of feeling?
You don't have the same energy level.
Yeah.
But that game last night felt like these guys want to compete. And I think that's one thing that's missing. And they always want to act like it's the old guys. It ain't the old guys. Anybody that watched the NBA, I'm sitting there with Kevin Harlan last night, and Rachel talked about it. These guys are really out here balling.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the NBA used to be. Anytime I saw Karl Malone, I'm like, dude, I want to prove that I'm the best power forward. I can give the best example I can give you is on the Dream Team. Like, Patrick Ewing and David Robinson tried to kill each other at practice because they want to prove who's the best center. Me and Karl Malone were trying to kill each other to prove who's the best power forward. Clyde Drexler was trying to kill Michael Jordan because I'm tired of people talking about Michael Jordan.
That didn't work.
But Clyde Drexler was a terrific player. And then you had Magic against Scotty because Scotty had just locked Magic up in the finals and Magic was still pissed. So, man, we went up and down that court for an hour and a half every day, and it was like a game 7 every single day. That's what I miss when I watch the NBA today. It ain't like, dude. It's nothing. Like, that's what sports are about, competition.
Yeah.
That's what they're about.
Well, we have to go because you have to go back and live your life.
Yeah.
Thank you for stopping by.
No problem, man.
You doing Eastern Finals this year?
We got the East this year, and I have no idea what I'm going to be.
Atlanta? You might be in Atlanta.
Let me tell you something. I try not to ever act like I know.
You're rooting for Atlanta.
I don't think they got enough big guys to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, to be honest with you. Right now, I have no idea who's going to win the Eastern Conference. I still like Chicago, to be honest with you.
I actually do too.
Yeah.
I think they have the most interesting ceiling of all these teams. I worry about Atlanta where they have another gear. I really like that team, but you got to go up a level in the playoffs.
I don't personally believe you can win the championship or go deep in the playoffs shooting jump shots. That's my personal opinion. I don't mind being wrong, but I think the teams you play are too good. Like you have a good team, bad team, good time when you're doing the regular season.
Yeah.
But when you play in the playoffs, especially like in any round of the playoffs, you're playing against a good team. Like last year, Indiana was the number 1 seed. Atlanta gave them all they could handle.
Yeah, they should have won that series.
I mean, I know. I mean, it is people. I tell people it's different in the playoff than it is during the regular season. Because if you got any flaws, the team is going to pinpoint them and attack you.
Yeah.
And from game 1 to game 2, they make subtle adjustments. 3 to 4, there's so many subtle adjustments. And that's the one thing I don't like about college. And I want to be clear now. All these coaches can coach. Let me make that clear. But when I'm watching the games and getting ready for March Madness, a lot of these coaches don't make in-game adjustments. Like you can tell they have a game plan, but sometimes the game plan don't work. And I look at some of these coaches. I love the kid at Virginia.
Yeah.
He's terrific. Bill Self at Kansas, John Calipari, Mike Krzyzewski, Bo Ryan at Wisconsin, Jay Wright at Villanova. Man, these guys make great in-game adjustments. So everybody's on the Kentucky bandwagon. I like Kentucky. I'm picking Arizona to win it. I'm going to pick Arizona to win it.
Feels like a hometown pick a little bit.
No, I probably watched them more than I saw anybody else play, but I will tell you this. If Kentucky loses, it's going to be to a really good coach.
Okay.
Because you can't out-talent them.
Yeah.
You got to out-coach them. You got to out-coach them. And you're not going to beat them strictly on talent. Because John Calipari is a terrific coach. He make adjustments. But if Kentucky loses, and Sean Miller's a hell of a coach. If Kentucky loses, it's going to be to a hell of a coach who makes some great adjustmets.
All right.
Anytime.
Thank you, brother.
Anytime, my friend.
Back with more from Austin after this.
Target to sign off. Whoa.
Thank you for downloading the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at PodCenter at ESPNRadio.com.
Peace out.
Gotta say, Golick, great call on grabbing Subway for lunch and getting guacamole on our subs.
Told you this new guac really amps up the flavor.
Yep, something adding up things can be great. Guacamole on your sub, a new co-host to replace you.
What was that?
Oh, no, nothing.
Subway now has deliciously rich new guacamole made from ripe Hass avocados with just a hint of garlic, onion, and jalapeno. Discover how new guacamole turns up the flavor on any of your freshly made favorites. Subway, eat fresh.